Hello. Welcome to the Full of Sense podcast. My name is Rondell Ruff, and I'll be the host of this podcast. Now, this is episode 0, meaning this isn't going to be the official first episode of Full of Sense, but I wanted to put myself out there and jump in 2 feet and start swimming. This is my way of creating content, getting feedback right now from close friends and family, and just taking my audience along the journey so you guys can always come back and reference this video. This is where I'm at, and hopefully 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years down the road, you can see where I'm going to be at, and you guys will be a part of that journey with me. So the purpose of this podcast is to talk about the things in events that we all go through in our everyday lives that are filled with hypocrisy. For me, I've noticed that it's become normal to accept the lies and half-truths as fact. Through this podcast, Full of Sense, I want to call out that hypocrisy. The setup of the podcast is going to be 10 to 30-minute episodes broken up into 3 segments. Segment 1 is going to be the title name of the podcast, Full of Sense. To where I'm going to talk about whatever the subject is. And I'm going to get into a short dive into whatever hypocrisy I want to call out on that day. Segment 2. Now, this segment is going to be called Full of Shit. Initially, I was going to title my podcast Full of Shit, but then I thought about the reach and the vulgarity of the word shit and how it would limit my audience. This is going to be an adult-based podcast, so there is going to be some swearing, there is going to be some vulgarities, but I didn't want that vulgarity to be straight up hitting you in the face and turning you off before you get a chance to even get into the content. So I changed the name of the podcast, made it more family friendly, but we are going to get into my original thought, Full of Shit. But instead of calling out the hypocrisy on being full of shit, I'm actually going to get into health, fitness, and wellness that we all have, because we're literally full of shit. I do want to get into that. I want to break down how I believe in all aspects of health: mental, physical, emotional. So I'll either have a product that I might display that's going to help your physical health. I'll talk about things that's going on in our life, highlight mental health things. There's different months that talk about mental health. There's different weeks. There's a lot of stuff that's going on with our health that I really want to highlight during this second segment. The third segment that I'm going to get into, this is going to be called Full of Sense. CENTS. So it might be hard to hear. I know I got a Detroit accent. I might sound a little strange, some of you folks, but this is going to be the fun part. It's going to be very short. It's going to come at the end of every podcast and is going to give you a parlay. Long shot parlays. Things that don't really happen. So the goal is to have some fun. I'm on social media every day. Everyone is asking, hey, give me a parlay. Send me a parlay. So hopefully you can come to this podcast and get your parlay after you view the other stuff. I'm sure some of you will start fast forwarding like, oh, I just want to get that parlay spot. And as I grow, as I put my podcast Full of Sense on different social medias, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, X, I'll segment it off to have my 3 segments broken up so that you guys can, jump and share those the way you like it. But anyway, let me get into episode 0 of Full of Sense. So welcome. Thank you for tuning in. And again, this is episode 0. So any feedback that you guys have after this, please share it with me. I'm looking to grow. So as you see, this is my office. This is going to be my setup. The goal is to change, to grow. So I really wanted to start it off so you guys can really say that you were with me from the bottom. I'm a bit of a sneakerhead. So this is most of my collection of shoes behind me. So it's going to be set up like such behind me. You see there's a TV here that I'm going to mount right there in between, maybe get some neon lights. I'm going to change the color of the room, change my blinds. This office was initially set up as our kids' study room during the COVID pandemic. And now that COVID is over, we're all moving about life normally. This office hasn't really been used as much, so I'm gonna change this to my podcast space. Over the next few weeks, episode after episode, you'll see it grow and see the change in it. And I plan on this podcast lasting for a very long time. So just to give you a taste of what the podcast is going to be, I'm going to start off this episode with my first segment of this episode talking about full of sense. Now, this isn't really a hypocrisy thing, right? But this is more so a pet peeve of mine, going to a big university, the University of Michigan, a well-known university. I'm a big sports enthusiast, so I understand there's fans that never attended school at the University of Michigan, but they're from the state of Michigan and they love the brand. I understand there's college sports is more in line with professional sports nowadays, where kids get money, NIL, or getting paid to play, etc., etc. So the fandom is a great thing. I think I'm a big fan. You know, I don't like watching sports with people because I'm a loud fan. I'm screaming, I'm hollering, I'm supporting my team that way. But when it comes to rivalry week in college sports, especially when it comes to the game, Michigan, Ohio State, if you never attended the University of Ohio State, please don't talk trash to me. I don't care if you sent your kids to Ohio State, you were born and raised in Ohio, that's your school. If you never attended that school, don't talk trash to me. I'm not going to take it as far as saying if you never graduated, because things change. People go to a school for a year or two, then they graduate from somewhere else to meet their needs. But I was initially going to put this thing up there and tell you guys, if you don't have one of these right here, right, with your school on it, with your name right there, right, I was going to say that and say, hey, don't talk trash to me. But I get it. You know, you attended the school a semester or two, and it just wasn't the school for you academically, and you had to go somewhere else to get the academic success that you needed to be in the career that you're in. Cool. You know, I might take a little trash from you, but I'm not really. But more importantly, if you don't have one of these, and I took it up out of here. And now I'm going to take it a step forward. If you don't have one of these, you know, them scarlet red jackets with the ugly O on it, don't come talking trash to me. You know, you can talk trash to your other friends, but don't tag me in your Facebook post, your Instagram posts. Don't send me all those messages because I'm going to ignore it, and I'm going to dismiss those. Not turning my nose up, but in the sense I am turning my nose up. I'm a big trash talker when it comes to sports, but certain things for me are off limits. So when it comes to my school, the University of Michigan, don't come talking trash to me about a school that you either didn't attend, graduate from, and especially if you ain't get one of these from that school, don't come talking trash to me about that. Especially if the school that you went to is hot garbage, it's trash, it hasn't done anything athletically. I will never knock the education anybody get from any school, because I'm of the sense that higher education is a little bit overrated. It's very expensive nowadays, but the work that we put in as student athletes, that can never be dismissed or downplayed. So when it comes to trash talk, when it comes to sports trash talk and university trash talk, let's keep it friendly, let's keep it fun, but definitely don't trash talk me if you ain't got one of these. All right. Segment 2, let's change things up a little bit. November is Men's Mental Health Month. So you guys probably can't tell I'm a bearded guy, but usually I keep it a little more groomed as this. I'm gonna get a little closer to the camera so you guys can see some of these hairs. But I usually, line it up, taper it up pretty good. But for Men's Mental Health Month, I really haven't been shaving. I haven't shaved. There's no shave November, so I'm not going to shave until December. first clean it up. And when I say shave, I'm a bearded guy, so I'm gonna keep this beard, but I'm gonna clean it up a little bit, get more groomed, get this hair from up over my mouth, because I hate mustache hair that go over the mouth. That just looks funny to me. But I'm gonna clean it up a little bit. But my main purpose on growing my beard out is to just show support for the other men out there. To, hey, it's okay to take care of your mental health, right? I'm a big advocate of therapy for everyone. If you get you a good therapist, you'll realize your therapist has a therapist. So I'm a big advocate on therapy. I know a lot of us have been through things and we say, hey, I turned out okay. But the reality is you're functioning, but are you okay? And the answer to that is probably not, because a lot of the traumas that you dealt with and are dealing with from your past and in your present, you take out on other people's, or you find ways to cope with it without really getting into a deep dive on your underlying issues and trauma. So I'm a big therapy advocate. So all you men out there, it's okay to get into therapy. If you can find a good therapist, please do so. And don't feel bad for, every therapist isn't for everybody. So, just if you get a therapist and they're not the right person for you, it's okay. You're paying them, right? So like, hey, you're not working for me, doc. Let me find somebody else. Another part on this, the full of shit segment for this segment that I want to do is just introduce you guys to ginger and turmeric juices. Let me see. There, focus up a little bit. There we go. This is a company that my wife founded a few years ago for her health issues. She started doing the natural juices, the cold pressed juices, and she has a very specific formula that she uses to make her juices not only healthy for your gut and to help with body inflammation and digestive issues, but they also taste good. These are some of the best juices that I've had. And I'm not just saying that because it's my wife that does it. I'm saying it because I'm an avid juice drinker, and nothing compares to the juices that I get from her. So that's my segment 2 on health, men's mental health, and just introducing the juices for today. That's my segment 2. I'm going to introducing different things, whether it's gut health, mental health, or whatever's going on during the full of shit portion of the episodes. So please tune in. So the fun parts, I guess, is all fun, but segment 3, full of sense, CENTS. If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. And for all of my not so proper folks, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So my 10-leg parlay, happy Thanksgiving to all the people out there. Hopefully you get a chance to celebrate with your loved ones and be around them. But this is my 10-leg parlay. I'm going to use the Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears Thanksgiving game to hopefully you can win a quick $100. If not, you're only going to lose $1. Remember, I'm not a gambling professional. I've been an NCAA coach for over 15 years. It has been illegal for me to gamble, so I don't have a lot of experience with this. But now that I'm not coaching on the NCAA level anymore, I've downloaded me a few of the apps, and until I grow, I won't be shouting out any apps or anything like that. Hopefully, as I grow, I can find some sponsors here and there, people that want to sponsor this segment, and I'll be putting that as a part of that sponsor. But for right now, it's just me and my thoughts. Basic research, basic statistics, a good 7 to 10 leg parlay. The real goal is going to be plus 1,000. I think 1,000. I think that's how it works. Or is it 10,000? So take $1 to win $100. I think plus 10,000 to win $100 off of dollar bet. So anyway, to get into this week's or week zero's bet, Thanksgiving edition, 10-leg parlay. $1 will get you $115, depending on what site you use, what method you go about doing it. But this is using the Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears. game on Thanksgiving, the first game of the day. So, hey, if you win if you win $100 on this game, you can take some money and bet it on some of the later games. But anyway, here's the bet. Amon-Ra St. Brown, anytime touchdown score. Jared Goff, 225 yards passing. Jahmyr Gibbs, 60 yards rushing. Amos, again, 60 yards receiving. J-Mo, 40 yards receiving. The Chicago Bears aspect of it. Chicago. I heard it too. Caleb Williams, 200 yards passing. DJ Moore, 54 and a half yards receiving. Cole Kmet, 31 and a half yards receiving. DeAndre Swift, 13 and a half yards receiving. Roma Duzine, 40 yards receiving. Eventually, I'll probably get into these numbers a little bit more on other segments. But right now, this is fun. This was a quick thing that I put together, so I didn't really do a lot of research. I do a little more research on some of my other picks, and I have some formulas and things like that. So right now, take it as it is. Have fun with it. Hopefully, this uploads and you guys can see it before it's too late. So I have a really good feeling about this bet though. But anybody that knows that does the parlays, once you start getting over 4, 5, 6 legs, all it takes is one thing to go wrong, and that whole parlay is it goes away. So high risk, low reward. Low risk, high reward on these longer parlays. That's why I say only bet $1. Please don't get extra amp and try to put a lot of money into these things, because once you start putting more money in, you see like, oh, if I take this 100, I can win $10,000. Like, please don't get greedy. Don't do things like that. Have fun with it. If you win, you win, great. If you lose, it's only $1. So just let's keep it fun like that. I haven't came up with a closing remarks yet or things like that. So hopefully by episode 1, which should come out a couple of weeks before Christmas, the office will be clean. I'll have some cool closing remarks for you guys, and it'll be a fun experience for everyone. But until then, thanks for tuning in. I'm looking forward to the feedback, anything that you guys have. Any suggestions that you guys have that to help me become better, I'm open to it. I'm looking forward to the trash talk. There's nothing like a little bit of humble pie from the internet trolls out there to just help keep us sharp. So I'm looking forward to the good, the bad, the negative feedback, all of that stuff. Just this is an adventure for me. I'm excited to start this, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. And until next week,